Welcome to the April episode of County Connection, where we talk about county programs and services. I'm Julie Suter, Public Affairs Coordinator. We have a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking about a new workforce housing project, a look behind the scenes at the Dillon Dam, and ways that we can help you out financially with protecting yourself against wildfire. We've got a great show. Thanks for joining us. For our first segment in this April episode of County Connection, we're talking about a new workforce housing project that's coming online soon. And here to shed light on this great subject are County Commissioner Thomas Davidson. Welcome,
Hi.
Thomas.
Hi.
Lori Best from the town of Breckenridge. And Nicole Blériot from the Summit County Housing Department. Welcome, Nicole.
Thanks.
All right, so Huron Landing is a new workforce housing project that will be opening its doors in coming months. So tell us about this project.
Well, I'll start. Huron Landing is on Huron Road, or County Road 450, over in the Breckenridge area. It's just up the street from the 7-Eleven, and it is a project that the county and the town of Breckenridge started working on, a couple of years back, and it's a 50-50 project. So we have collaborated on this and shared the expenses and the decision making and all of that other stuff.
The joy, the rapture.
50-50. And it's a rental project. One of the things that we know from the needs analysis is that the needs analysis of our workforce housing needs is that we need to do more with regards to rental projects. So it's 26 units. Tell me again the layout of these units.
Well, we've got 15 2-bed, 1-bath, and we've got 11 2-bed, 2-baths.
Right.
So.
And the project will be affordable to people that are 80 to 100% AMI
Right.
is the target here.
Right.
So this is a little bit different than some of the other, say, low-income projects that we've done that are with LIHTC funds that hit an even lower AMI. Ooh, AMI, let's describe that. Area median income.
In 10 words or less.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, can't wait to hear this.
So area median income is a tool that's used, it's information that's provided and calculated by the federal government. It stands for area median income, which tries its best to describe what affordability would be and what kind of household incomes, and then from that we decide either rents or the pricing for a unit if we're going to sell a unit based upon what this income is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well done. It helps us target the range for what the appropriate rent would be for various household sizes within that average median income.
Right. And, if you're really wonky, you know that we've got some concerns with regards to area median income for those people that really kind of follow a lot of housing stuff that we do. We've identified that the recession has caused us to question the use of this, but for right now we're using it. I think that's something that you'll see all of the jurisdictions pursue changes to in the future. But for our purposes now, and for the purposes of setting a rent and deciding how to make these things affordable, this is still a useful tool, and we're going to start rents for these units at.
This, since we are trying to target that 80 to 100% AMI, the initial rents that we're setting are going to be $1,550 for the 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and then $1,700 a month for the 2-bed, 2-bath. And I'm glad you mentioned it because, obviously, in the town, we are trying to, build projects that are going to be serving a variety of our needs in terms of different incomes. This is a different project than the Pinewood 2 project, which we just completed, which really targeted very, very low AMI. So we're excited to see Huron Landing come on board, and really happy to be working with the county on this.
Great. So, Thomas, you mentioned that this is a 50-50 project, and between Summit County and the town of Breck, and sharing 50% of the cost, 50% of the joy. What kind of set the stage for the partnership to be able to happen?
Yeah, so I think that one of the important things to understand is that, not only are we in partnership to develop the housing, but we also work together in order to get the site set to be able to do this. Previously, this is where the county had a recycling center. It's where the county had ambulances. It's where the county had other storage and other operations. And so the first thing that we had to do is we had to find a place to put all of that stuff. And so not only has the town cooperated in terms of the development of the project, but we worked together to find a new site for recycling. We are actually now have a long-term lease from the town in order to have a place to have other vehicles and maintain those vehicles. We partnered with Red, White, and Blue Fire District in order to relocate the ambulances, and so a lot of different entities were involved in just preparing the site and clearing it, right? What we put the land into it, and then the costs of the project, all the construction, the development of all of that is shared 50-50. And then with regards to the units themselves, we basically, as the county, have control, if you will, of one half. The town has control of the other half, but we are working together in terms of how we're going to roll this out to the community. Maybe some conversations about what the selection process.
The lottery process, most likely, because the demand is pretty significant. So we're anticipating that we will have a lottery sometime early June. The units will be complete and ready for occupancy July 15th. So we're going to be talking about sort of the criteria for some weighted lottery, make sure that the people that are able to get into Huron Landing are the people that really need these units. And they're going to be great units, right on transit, right on the rec path.
By the Flume Trail.
By the Flume Trail. Close to jobs. Our primary goal on this is to make sure that we have housing in the community available for the people that work in the community. Because if we're not providing that housing, then obviously, it's impacting the economic vitality of the community as well as the character of the town as a real town. So that's
that
our real interest.
Cultural vitality.
Yes, a real town. Place where people can live, work, raise a family.
Right.
So we're pretty excited about the units because they will be pet friendly.
Excellent.
They are a nice.
I think that's an important point because that often is a struggle for folks if
There's
they
much
do happen
fewer
to have
inventory for our pets.
Yeah. So these are pet friendly.
They do. They have a washer dryer, which you need with pets in the unit. So that
And
works
humans.
out well. Each of them have a deck.
Yep.
The views are spectacular. It's a nice square footage. They range from the mid 700s up through the mid 900s. So as far as our workforce housing inventory goes, that's on the higher end. So they're very nicely appointed units. The extended construction and design team have picked out wonderful finishes, has a nice modern feel. There will be surface parking and one assigned parking space for each of the units. Other parking spaces available at a slightly increased or accessory to the rent on a monthly basis. So it is a pretty exciting opportunity, great location. Again, as Laurie said, transportation right there. You can't get any lazier and more convenient or efficient with your time use as a local.
Right,
So
right.
it really is exciting.
Yeah, and then let's see, you're going to be the property manager, right?
We
It's a
are
joint
selecting a property manager.
No, I thought
I
you
am
were-
not manager. Oh, we better shut down. No, we are actually going to have a professional property manager on contract to run this new apartment complex for us. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lori, you kind of mentioned quickly that you've gotten a lot of interest. How would you characterize the level of interest in this project?
Well, there's a lot of interest because, a lot of people go up and down County Road 450 in Huron. I'm sure they've seen it and they've been following the construction as we all have. And so what we've been telling folks is, if you're interested in, learning more about this project and being on a list, to contact Vicki Lewis at the Housing Authority, and we can give the email address for that.
Vicki L at summithousing.us.
Right,
All right,
and get
perfect.
on her list. There are quite a few people on the list. At last count, I think we're close to 80 people. Again, this is 26 units, which is why Thomas and I were talking about a lottery, which will likely occur. But in terms of the process, I think a lot of people may be wondering if I'm interested, what do I do? I mean, the first thing you really do is get on Vicki's list. And then be aware that there'll be a website that's going to go live probably within a couple weeks or so. I'm not
So
sure when this
early
is
April?
running, early April. And there'll be a lot of information on the guidelines for the project, the community rules, for example, no smoking, some things like that. And then people will be able to decide, does this project work for me? And then we will actually accept applications over a period of time, most likely to begin mid-April, run through mid-May. So for like a 30-day period of time, people would be able to complete an application. Then we'll really understand what the level of interest is and talk about how that lottery is going to work. And, our plans for the lottery are to make sure that if you get selected for one of these units, well enough in advance that you can give notice if you're in another situation. So, targeting that July 15th lease update and working backwards.
Okay, and then do you want to talk a little more detail about eligibility for the lottery?
Sure. Really, what we're looking to do is to target workforce. Our goal is to make sure that the folks that are working in Summit County and in Breckenridge can live near their job so that they can take a bus or ride their bike. So probably workforce is the first, level of eligibility. And what we're looking for are people that are working at least 30 hours a week in the community. And then the other sort of criteria that I think will be important to people is the income cap. We did want to make sure, since we are building these units to target a certain AMI, that the folks that actually get into these apartments are folks that are within a reasonable income. And so we have set a income cap on these. It's fairly high. It runs basically, if it's a two-person household, and 2 is the minimum size household for these units,
Okay.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
an
a
important point.
maximum of 4. So if it is a two-person household, that max income is around $105,000 a year. If
Okay.
it's a 4-person household, then that max income is about $130,000 a year.
Okay, great. And so then if people are interested now, they can email Vicki at the Summit Combined Housing Authority, and then the
Watch for the
website.
website.
Watch for the website, which will have all kinds of detail about the project and the process.
The applications will also be on the website, Julie.
Okay, perfect. And then in the meantime, I know that there's some information about this project on the Summit County website and Town of Breck too. Lori, is that?
We have a little bit of information on our website. I think we linked to your website. But yeah, we'll be actually putting a lot more information out within the next couple weeks.
Okay, so look for that mid-April.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that any of you have to add about this exciting project?
They are really nice units. So commissioners and town council members from Breckenridge have toured the site a couple of different times now. On the last tour, we kind of decided to make some improvements in terms of enclosing the stairwells and all the rest,
Which is in
make it
process.
more livable and all of the rest of that. So I just have to say that they're really nice units. beautiful views.
Finishes
And,
are nice.
Oh yeah, it's a really good example, I think, of the kinds of workforce housing projects that you'll see jurisdictions in this county delivering. And just want to say thank you to all of the voters for voting yes on the funding last fall. We're putting those monies to good use, and it's great to live in a community so that people that work here can also live here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thanks to all three of you for joining us and sharing all this info on this great project.
Great.
Thanks for having
Julie.
us.
All right, stick with us. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about financial assistance for wildfire mitigation projects.